The Faze fan base, or the Faze Banks fan base, seems to bewilder a reporter that's just getting you the news and the facts. Hi, I'm Tommy C, and this is Shop for the Point News, and I am with Mr. Nicholas Diorio to cover this story. How familiar, how brought up to speed are you with this whole situation right now?
Just up to the point of your last video, I'm actually really interested to see where this goes.
Well, it's going to sound really, really familiar because when you ask Banks or anybody in the Faze clan, like what's up with this? That's not true. How do you explain this? It's usually they usually come back with you're a liar.
Everyone's a liar. Here comes the CEO on to explain how we're all stupid.
Yeah,
it can't possibly just be the alcoholic drug guy. None of that could be it. No,
it could. No, that's never it. But the latest controversy is Banks goes on a podcast called the Bad News Podcast, which is the I guess his manager's older brother's podcast, and the whole idea behind it is like this. Banks lives this sort of crazy, wild life, and for some reason, after denying having any connection to CS:GO Wild for years, the biggest open secret, and probably not even just on the esports, just in YouTube in general, that Banks had something to do with this. The whole Faze clan had something to do with this. He starts to go in detail about this skin gambling website that he bought and had to host in some tiny Caribbean island. Just happened to. And this kid that's up on the board now, I shouldn't call him a kid. He's a young man. He does 2 videos on it, trying to basically vindicate himself, because when he started reporting that he was hearing connections about CS:GO Wild and the Faze clan, he was called a liar. He was doing it for clout. All the same thing we did when we reported honestly on the Barley House situation. He went through the exact same thing. So he makes video number 1. But he looks pretty bewildered, nervous. He makes video number 2. He looks like he's been drinking vodka and taking sleeping pills. And after this, he supposedly gets in a call with Faze Rain, and Faze Rain tells him something that's it's completely unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense after the detail that Banks went through owning a gambling website. Now, he didn't say the website by name, in fairness. So, but what's believable? The Faze clan did commercials with CS:GO Wild while Banks or the Faze clan owned another skin gambling site. It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all, and that's where the issue is. A lot of the Faze clan guys made commercials, and that's what got T-Mar and Pro Syndicate in trouble. I will play you this video. I feel this is Jake Lucky, and he seems. I'll be honest with you, he seems scared. He doesn't want to take the heat.
Hey everybody, sorry for the long thread. I think if I put it in a video, it'd probably be easier for you guys to understand. Just got off a long call with Faze Rain, and I wanted to explain my side of things, why I reported on what Faze Banks said, because he came out publicly, admitted to owning the website, said a lot of other things alongside that, so I hope you guys can understand why I would report that as truth, because after 4 years, after all the surrounding rumors and suspicions, Banks comes out and admits that he owns the site, was running it, and a lot of other things. I've now talked to Faze Rain, who refutes all of that and pretty much says that Banks heavily misworded what he had said.
We're not talking about a Freudian slip of the tongue here, Diorio. We're talking about going into detail, in detail. And I can understand why Rain and all them would be, and Rug, these guys advertised CS:GO Wild. Now, I don't ever remember him using the word CS:GO Wild, but I really don't think that matters. And for this guy and he says he refutes this. Does he refute it? Or does he say it didn't happen? Because those are 2 very different things. He sounds like he's just denying it and coming up with the insane story that, Banks just bumbled his way through it. Let's hear more of this.
And doesn't know why he actually said that stuff.
She was showing off. That's what he was trying to show everybody how cool he was, which is a problem that Banks has.
And the worst part about this is after talking to Rain, obviously sounding very sincere. And I cannot fully prove what Banks said. But I hope you guys understand why, if Banks out of nowhere said he owned and ran the site, that I would report that. That's what I would do.
I can't prove it. All right. There's such thing as an accusation, and there's an accusation that has a huge amount of circumstantial evidence. Banks goes on Banks prior to this says he doesn't own, or the Faze clan doesn't own, any CSGO gambling website for the last 4 years. He goes into detail how he went to the Caribbean, how he paid off a government official, how that's how they hosted their servers. That's how they get, and he goes into great detail on how CS:GO gambling works, how it's a coin flip between your skins and the other guy's skins, and how much money was in it, and how he had to get out of it because it got overregulated. And he misspoke. It makes literally no sense at all. To sit there and say he can't, no, you proved it. You didn't have to you didn't have to prove anything. Banks did. And what are the odds that Banks owned another CSGO gambling website that wasn't named CSGO Wild? Let's get real here.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think CS:GO Wild is actually based out of that specific island that he named in the actual.
What? How did that happen?
I've been told that. I don't know if that's true, but I've been told that.
It's a.
There's also another thing, Tommy. I don't mean to hijack this video right now,
Sure.
but can you click that twit longer I just linked you?
I didn't think I'd be making a public statement about the relationship with CS:GO and Faze, but after the consistent post filled with untrue accusations and speculations, I figured it'd be time to tell the tale. First off, Faze Clan and any of its members do not and never have owned any part of the Wild.
Wait, this gets really specific considering that exact story you were just telling. Keep going.
Which paragraph? Can we get right to it?
No. I would just read the first one.
Okay. First off, Faze Clan, any of its members do not and never have owned any part of Wild. Team Wild Incorporated, also known as CS:GO Wild, is only owned by myself and my brother Zach. Our incorporation documents can be accessed right here. Members of the media may tweet #stick for the password so they can be used appropriately. In August of 2015, a few friends of mine thought we'd make our own version of CS:GO Jackpot website. We launched a beta of a game mode, and that was the first of its kind, 1v1 Jackpot. Later, we transitioned to deciding that the winner of the coin flip, soon after, we started to reach out to people with followings to get our new game recognized. Our first idea was to approach people that we had been friends with for years through gaming and our work on YouTube. Faze, I've known and been decent friends with Faze Banks since before he had any sort of following. So I thought it'd be easier to offer him the team he managed at the time, a deal that they could promote us and get ourselves off the ground. Wait a minute, did this guy just make a major contradiction?
I'll read the next paragraph too. I'm sorry. One more after this. Yeah.
I also asked him if he could help find me web designers that could remake our poor design at the time. As a friend, we tweeted out and he sent me contracts of those who wanted the job. The tweet can be found here. Once our beta was running, I showed him and asked him if he'd promote Wild in exchange for cash. He liked the idea of a coin flip and asked team member Faze Rain if he was interested. At the time, being able to win skins as was a novel idea, and we had the community excited. Banks and Rain also been playing on other sites of their own at their own expense, because they generally enjoyed it. Yes, sure. Both have released videos on their channels that features other sites such as Skin Arena and CS:GO Gamble. Well, that doesn't matter if they have a piece of this. If I had to guess, you know what this tells me? Banks' name may not be on it, but he owns it, and that was the rumor. And here's another thing. My source has been telling me for the better part of 3 years now, the majority of his wealth comes from this, and it makes perfect sense. He said he didn't have an extra $1 million to start a CS:GO Faze team. All right, and everybody's doing pretty well back then. But and this brought them more money than they could ever imagine. This is more lucrative than they could have ever imagined. It is completely unbelievable. Not even not fathomable that anybody could own this other than Faze, Banks, and maybe a couple of partners. And it's very, very clear that they advertised this with their members, the same thing, and didn't release the fact that they had a connection to it. The exact same thing that got T. Martin Pro Syndicate in trouble. Oh, that's fun.
While we're here, just to clarify this, can you just hit the @wild at the top to show this is their verified Twitter?
Absolutely. There we go. I just want to make sure. I'll go. Bingo. There we go. That was from July 19th, 2016. So it's just, like I said, it's totally and completely unbelievable that this could be anything other than what it seems and what FaZe Banks explained in his Bad News podcast. Let's listen to Jake again and finish this out.
Admits that he owns the site, was running it, and a lot of other things. I've now talked to FaZe Rain, who refutes all of that and pretty much says that Banks heavily misworded what he had said and doesn't know why he actually said that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And the worst part about this is after talking to Rain, obviously sounding very sincere, and I cannot fully prove what Banks said. But I hope you guys understand why, if Banks out of nowhere said he owned and ran the site, that I would report that. You know, that's what I would do.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. He said he owned it, and now they're telling you, they're gaslighting you, stupid. I mean, come on.
Now talk to Rain.
Well, I owned it. I mean, I made so much money off that damn website. It was practically mine. Come on. Yeah, I owned the fucking polls. Yeah.
That's too funny.
I talked to Rain, and he says none of that is true, and that was misworded, and I'm choosing off what, a gut to believe him. And it puts me in an incredibly tough situation because I don't want to end up with all these FaZe fans hating on me, and it's probably going to happen because
I have a criticism. Buckle up, Buttercup. If you want to be a news guy, if you want to be taken seriously, you got to take the heat. And if these guys are intimidating you, and you're simply going by, all right, here it is. You have facts. Banks told you had that he had a gambling website, right? That's a fact. That's a fact on a podcast. And you're going to tell me because you had a conversation and someone seemed sincere, they seemed sincere, that you're going to believe them? I mean, it's completely insane. And it looks like the FaZe Clan is trying to intimidate Jake here. Yeah, of course you reported it because it's true. So I got to be honest with you. You want to be taken seriously as a reporter. You know, every time the FaZe Clan gets their panties in a bunch, you got to buckle up and stick to your principles. And it's not really hard considering he admitted it. I mean, come on, Jake.
Because
is this guy going to start a brand new website called Verified Giveaway and disappear in a couple days?
Yes. Keem, I think you have a business partner here.
Banks said, but joke's on you. Banks was kidding. Banks didn't mean it. And so I don't know. It's really sucky, and I feel like every day I'm learning about all this stuff. You know, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and so probably one more video coming out about this, guys. I'm sorry to anyone I offended. I hope you guys.
Fuck that.
I'm sorry to anyone I offended by having Banks say those things.
There's my Jake. You seem like a good guy, and I watch a lot of your stuff. I think he does great work. But I
understand why I reported what I reported, and at this point, you guys can choose whatever side to believe you want.
Yeah, and this is what the FaZe Clan does. They're taking somebody in esports media, they're intimidating them. All they had to say is, FaZe misspoke. That's actually impossible to come to that conclusion unless you're a fanboy and want to believe it. And absolutely all this, the circumstantial evidence, a lot of people, you can get convicted of murder with circumstantial evidence. This is more than enough here. It's more than enough.
I was pretty sure he owned it before he said he owned it. Now that he said he owned it, I'm pretty sure he owns it.
Everybody knows he owns it. I mean, it's just I mean, it's unbelievable. Banks was rich prior to CS:GO Wild. Banks became a multi-millionaire. Everything changed in 2017. The Cloud House, the girlfriend, and Rice Gum, and all that other stuff. That didn't come from his tiny FaZe operation. It didn't come from a company that had trouble raising $1 million. It came from gambling. That's where it came from. And I'm going to be making this up. I don't care. I think the kid argument is ridiculous.
I would say the kid thing makes it a little bit worse, but I don't think it's an actual point.
No,
I think when you're looking at these guys literally scamming people, saying that they own the website, I would say they don't own the website, rather, and they're just sitting there playing on it like T. Martin was doing, and T. Martin having a Call of Duty audience, which was around my age at the time. I do think like it's a little bit worse when you're scamming a demographic that's younger.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna leave that up to them because I don't know if that's illegal. I don't think having this business is illegal.
Oh, I don't know if it's illegal. It's
I don't think that's illegal. I don't think it's business. I'm certainly not a lawyer. I think the problem here, and we do have precedent with T. Martin Pro Syndicate. Those guys had to pay out. We don't know what they had to pay out.
You can even make the argument that it's a rated M game and kids shouldn't be playing. So how could the kids be getting scammed if the parents have the money?
I gotta be honest with you.
I totally get that.
If you want to gamble scams over a coin flip, which is serious degeneracy, by the way, if you and you're over 18. Be my guest. Go ahead. You know, I mean, I don't know why you would want to bet on coin flips. I mean, that in itself is just utterly insane.
Why do people go to casinos, Tommy? It's fun.
Yeah, that's not a coin flip. It's a little more than a coin flip. And like it's literally it's a binary game of chance. That's another topic for another time. But to sit there and I think my bigger concern is he clearly owned this, right? I'm gonna stake my reputation on this. Banks bought CSGO Wild, and he slipped up when he was talking about it, trying to brag to his best buddy's older brother. That's what happened here. That's clearly what happened here. He didn't misspeak. This isn't a Freudian slip that was taken out of context. You can listen to the podcast. I'll put it in the description box below. It went into great detail. And I you know what? If he doesn't own that, I'll put my kid up for adoption. How about that? That's how sure I am, Jake. Show some balls. All right, everybody. You have any parting words?
No, I just love to see Faze Banks fall and slam his face into the concrete. It actually brings me great joy.
Ricky!